I was just watching this documentary, and I've watched it way too many times, about sugar, processed foods, and the real pandemic that no one wants to talk about is the health of American society as we stand, both genders, right? Here I am, very capable at this age of 49, and I wasn't always like this. Mind you, I was an addict, alcohol, right? I talk about that on my channel, something I'm not proud of, but I feel like I'm at a stage in life where, as I'm reaping the benefits of living a wellness, fitness, motivational life as such, and just really self-motivated, I have a duty to pave the path forward to the younger brothers out there and the younger generation as such. And I've been getting some thank yous on my channels, and it's taken 400 plus subscribers to get to this point. So, if my analytics are saying that this is what people want to tune into and hear more from an older man, so I will do so. I will say this: getting in shape, getting jacked, getting lean to your best version, the best of your ability, essentially, will vastly improve your dating life, guys. So if you're struggling to land your dates, and I'm not saying it works 100% of the time, because that's a different kind of confidence, like walking up to a girl and asking her out. That's a different kind of confidence, and it becomes simpler and a lot more doors open for you if you're in shape. Like, you're already pre-selected in that sense. But this video is not so much about picking up on girls and asking them out. That's a video and story for another time. But if you look at the American Standard Diet, it's labeled, right, the acronyms SAD. I mean, we are really in a sad state of affairs. And I've always noticed, like, gradually over time, obviously I'm Generation X, and I come from a climate where I know what fit people look like. And it's progressively gotten worse every year. And now I've lived long enough to see the vast difference. So if a man like me, right, if a guy like myself, I'm living the life of a 25-year-old responsibly, meaning that I perform and I function like I'm 25. If you've seen some of my martial arts videos, dance videos, soccer clips, I keep myself really maintained, right? The mobility, I stress agility, mobility. There's no sense for you to be this big, massive guy just standing tall and all that strength, but you cannot move that mass. And when push comes to shove, all you have is one punch versus moving and being able to dance around to hold kind of your ground, but just not even a fight stance, right? I'm talking about just yourself. From that perspective, today's generation, from what I see, we are on video. We play a lot of video games, right? Gen Zs, we are always on our video games. Some of us don't even do this, getting out and getting a simple walk. We don't see the daylight. I'm feeling a little bit of the burn, so I'm trying to not to get too overburned here. You know what I mean? Because when I get the shade darker, it just really shows on me. I like this tan right now, so kind of conserve it, folks. But a lot of people don't even come out and get to do this, which is get their vitamin D, get a sunshine, get their walks in, right? This is all part of health. This is all part of routine. This all adds into your gallon of water every single day. How many times does your doctor tell you to drink enough water? Like, it may be a passing by statement. It may be something that they say, okay, drink enough water, don't forget. But how many people actually stress that? As simple as that sounds, right? So I got like 3 dogs again barking in the background for no apparent reason. Probably my hoodie. So we are addicted to comfort foods. The pharmaceutical business is a big business, and they're incentivized to keep us on medication, right? Why find the cure, right? Why give us the cure if they can keep us on medication? And that's a sad state to be. And you have to pave and create your own path. And if not, then find people like myself and others who have paved their own paths. Do you know that I've been fasted for 18 hours? And the more I was home right now, the more free time I had on my hands, the more I wanted to open the refrigerator and go eat something. When I clearly know the mindset that I've trained myself why I'm here today is that you haven't earned anything. You're not really hungry. You haven't earned yourself the right to eat that food and break your fast right now. You haven't done nothing. So for me, my golden staple rule is that unless I take a good walk, unless I'm out and about and I've gotten the sunshine and gotten a few steps, I don't dare put any food in my mouth. The nights that I don't sleep too well is when my sugar cravings go up the roof, right? I'm just giving you some flavors as to that I'm very human as well. But America, just essentially, you walk into a grocery store, right? What's the first thing you see in front of you, right? It's not. It could be the produce sections, depending on which grocery stores you're at, or which convenience stores you go to pick up your food items. But it's typically the processed foods that's right there in front of you. And as you make your way out the entrance to the checkout line, it's the way they position it. Even at that checkout cashier lines, you got all the chocolate, you got all the chips, you got the soda, the sugar, salt, sugar, processed fructose, right? It's all the bad stuff your body doesn't need. Is it a surprise that I made a video about dating apps, right? But it's a sad state even on dating apps, is because a lot of these men and women, my filters are women, by the way, just an FYI. You can see the videos about my girlfriend and I, the recent, she's actually all over my YouTube in the ride that we've had in the last year and a half. And we just went our own separate ways just about a week ago. So I digress, but just to add that context, like the woman I come across on these apps and even social media, because some of them actually have their Instagram attached to the dating profiles, and I'm on both. I'm on Instagram. I'm on dating apps, but dating apps sucks, by the way. I'm a great in-person guy, so I can make conversation that way. I'm just an older gentleman. I have my whereabouts and wits about me, so that's experience right there. And it doesn't help. Of course, it helps when you're in shape and you look the part, right? So, some of the candidates on these apps and social media, man, it's the talent pool sucks. It's either they're super young, okay, which is as long as they're over 18, in my opinion, but they're super young, and then only they're looked that way. But some of them are on the verge of just one burger away before they blow the hell up. And then a lot of the most women in general, they seem overweight. They're not seem, they are. It's just, if this is hurting you in some kind of way, then do something about it. Don't attack me, please, because I'm just giving you a very straightforward opinion. It's like, we made 2020 such a big deal, right? The pandemic, in my opinion, was the greatest fear tactic and scam in history, because I was forced into taking the jab, right? By my corporate. I was a corporate culture guy. I'm looking to get back into it, but prior to that, I never got sick for like the last 6-7 years prior to 2020. I never really got the flu. I was very healthy, and I still am very healthy, and I still very rarely get the flu. But I will tell you, 2020 and onwards, I got sick more. Ever since I got the jab, I got more sick. Like I just got things and ailments that I never thought were going to be there. Like by way of, flu, getting the coughs and just nasty colds that I beat most of the time. That used to be a non-factor. Now it's a factor. So on one sense, okay, I understand, but that's the pandemic and the flu shots and all that. I never needed a flu shot in my entire life, by the way. So what was very interesting is that we made such a ruckus out of getting the jab versus focusing on eating healthy. Where was big pharma? Where was media then, right? Where were all the doctors? Or were they just jumping on board and signing away their souls to the devil in that sense? Because what you need to know is that what you're putting in your mouth in American standard diet, if you follow that hierarchy, it's poison. No wonder you're inflamed, right? No wonder you cannot lose the weight around your waist every year in, year out. I talk about this on my channel, right? All these New Year's resolutions plan, you all go out and buy. We go out and buy this fancy gear, this fancy equipment, fancy shoes. We invest in an expensive gym membership. Half the time we're on our treadmills or the bench and just sitting and scrolling and texting, but not really focused on workouts, right? And not just say, even if you're getting your workouts in, are you really dialed into your diet, your nutrition? Do you measure, right? Do you pay attention to the nutrients, right? These are some of the things holistically speaking, that we should be very conscious of, but now they have us on autopilot. They have us on autopilot eating like crap. I mean, if you compare United States to the rest of the world, right, we rank number one easily. And how the rest of the world looks at us, it's a bit of a shame, to be honest, because taking this back to the dating worlds, right, and habits, you generally find a lot more fit people outside of the United States. And go figure, right? The West here in America, we promote such unhealthy eating, even with kids, right? Think about all that orange juice, Capri Sun, right? Cranberry, all that processed drinks with the label of their fruits, right? But really, they're processed fruit drinks with the flavor as such. The fructose at the back, each cup would probably be easily like 28 grams, 30 something grams of just sugar. Like, you know, are we paying attention for the cereals that we're feeding our kids, right? My thing is, how could you be that disconnected? Like, do you not see that your child is overweight? And at what point do you step in to start teaching them healthy habits? See, I'm Generation X, so I've seen many decades in that sense, or many 5-year intervals where we didn't have this problem. We didn't have this problem. Both men and women were reasonably, like, not even jacked. They were just reasonably presentable, right? Today, we can't say the same unless, like, she is super young, like 18 and on, right? But by the time they get to 23, 24, like, their metabolism, your metabolism's gonna fade. Folks, I don't look, this has taken years. All this you're seeing here, all this I've built over decades, and I had a problem with my diet, my nutrition, me not fasting, me not having a relationship with my food, right? Me interjecting, intervening with my life, like having a come to Jesus moment, because like in my early to mid 40s, I almost never made it out, like because of my habits, right? All the toxins and alcohol and mixing certain chemicals, drugs, and all of that stuff, like anti anxiety medication, to be specific. Nothing harder than that. Like, I'm not a cocaine, weed. Nothing wrong with weed, but I'm not a cocaine, like all that stuff, the hard drug. I don't do all that. Alcohol was my downfall. And of course, when you are even moderately drinking these days, it does lead to bad eating habits, because it changes your palate, changes your taste buds, and you just want to get the greasy food, right? And think about all that time you've spent in the gym or fasting or walking to trim down your belly, your midsection, right? And that's why I'm doing this video, folks. Like, it baffles me, right? And the standards then we put on each other, that, oh, he must be 6'1", he must be. You're talking about the 1% population, ladies. Like, the 1% man, right? We all know that story, how that goes. But 20% of the women want the 1%. 80% of the women are looking for the 1% guy. But 80% of the men don't really look for the 1%. They can settle for the 6 and the 7 and the 8. Settle meaning we don't require a whole lot, man. Like, from a man's perspective, fresh, fit, and feminine. Like, those are the 3 things we'll really look for. Outside of that, we don't have a grocery list of items, folks. So to my brothers out there, especially this is for you, the young guys, the young men, you can take it from an older guy here. Like, I'm competing in your sports, guys. I'm competing. I play little league soccer. Little league meaning, like, there's this little league here for soccer. I compete in the men's soccer club, and play reasonably at a high level. Of course, I'm not going full throttle because it's a team sport, and I'm not here to be the next Messi. I'm just glad I can move this way, and I'm so quick, agile, limber, right? And every time I walk off the field, I feel really proud. Even when I'm doing martial arts, I feel really, really proud of myself. It's like, if I injected myself and digested all these processed foods, there's no way I'm going to feel this. There's no way I'm going to feel the euphoria. Because these processed foods change the way your body operates and how it excretes waste and how it holds on to bad stuff, right? Your body as is designed to move, but your body also wants to be comfortable. Like I said, it wants to go like this. You might say it wants to grow, it wants to get fat on you and keep you comfortable. It wants the fat, right? What you're doing essentially is you're giving it what it wants versus what it needs. And what it needs is this. Listen to this. I'm walking on rocks. You can see behind me, walking on rocks. This is also to force, you know, over time, my core, right? Because when you're walking on rocks and sand, it makes you use your flexes, your different parts of your back, your core, right? And over time, you do that, you're going to become defined. And mind you, like I said, I have fasted for about 17, 18 hours. I'm going to be well over 5,000 steps by the time I'm done with this set of batch recording. But if you are someone out there that's struggling to put down the chips and sugar and all of that, let's start with sugar. Like, ask yourself why. Why are you struggling with this? Why are you know what you need to do, but why haven't you done it? And trust me, we are a victim to our habits. In a way, we are cursed by it, right? So why can't we break that habit? Why can't we break out of that spell? Oh, yeah, guys, I do this all the time. I think I did this yesterday where I did not. I'm already 15 minutes, 16 minutes. I could have logged the steps. I mean, it's going to pick it up anyway. That's fine. It's a great problem to have is when you forget to track your steps, but it's still going to show up at the end of the day as a total number of steps, right? So this is the message I'm trying to spread is, you know, be careful on how you watch TV and what you watch as well. If you're watching your favorite sports, I've done a video on how I watch my sports and I try to get in a workout versus constantly sitting there watching TV, you know, that's also absorbing that blue light and whatnot. But these factors all play into your physique, your physiological, your biology, right? It shows up in different ways. And so if you're following the American diet, I encourage you to not follow the American standard diet because it prescribes nothing but sickness and poison. And you don't have to look any further than your next door neighbor or neighbors to realize that everyone is inflamed, overweight, obese for the most part. And some people are struggling to even hide it. Like, you know, your next, you know, your slim fit suits or your pants, dress, whatever you try to hide, it's not gonna hide it. The more you try to hide it, the more it's gonna show, guys. Like we know this. So that's all I have to say in this regard is that it's a shame that we're here. It's a shame that our doctors, pharmaceuticals, you know, advisors and confidants are not telling us. If someone around me is kind of falling off the wagon, I'm going to call it out and say, hey, you're falling off, man. You got fat. What's wrong with you? Right? But we cannot even say this to each other in today's society because then it's going to be like you're bullying me or cyberbullying, right? Or he talked like that to me. He called me out and he shamed me, fat shamed me. You know, if you want to live in your feelings like that, I don't come from that generation. I come from a generation where we told each other on our faces, you're slacking, man. You got to pull up your socks. You got to pull up your weight. No pun intended, but you got to pull your weight. Like you gotta put in the work, man. Like you better be competitive, right? There's another side to this, which is the male testosterone dilemma right now, which is the lowest it's ever been. The lowest it's ever been. And there are ways I can get you there to increase your natural testosterone. I am not on any TRT. All this is very thinly trimmed beard, which is all black, as you can see. So that's a sign of a good, healthy, mature man with good biology, right? Good hormonal balance, right? Fresh, right? And that's where you want to be. If I'm able to compete and give 25, 26, 27, 28-year-olds a run for their money, heck, even men in their 30s, you know, you should. I'm not saying you should, but you may consider taking advice from me and taking heed to it. I've been around for 5 decades now, right? So there's some truth, a lot of truth as to what I'm saying here. So, folks, get your steps in is what I would say. Walk every single day. Get out there and walk. Don't eat until you walk. Feel the biology working through your entire system. Like, not observe because you cannot see inside, but you have to observe mentally. Like you have to feel your body. And this is where I have become very, I wouldn't say a master, but I'm very tactful. Sometimes I feel like I'm masterful in how well I know my body and how to listen to it and see it too visually, right? that, hey, this is feeling a lot better right now versus eating food for no reason because I'm not hungry right now. If you can dial that in and adhere to that right there, you're onto something. You're onto something because now you're really listening to your body. Right now, you're building a relationship. Now you're becoming smarter and not being led by commercials and temptations, because fasting and walking develop mental muscle, like it creates a discipline. And honestly, you're gonna be the 1% guy, the 5% guy. These days, it doesn't take a whole lot to differentiate yourself from the masses, is because showing up today is really half the battle, and putting in the work, that's cake. If you've showed up, putting in the work is easy. You're on easy mode there. Okay, enough of this for this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Mamba out.